I'm a flossy nigga, they try to toss me, nigga. The 45th get them off me, nigga. I block niggas, Chris Bosh, you niggas. I got figures, pitch posh, you niggas. I dunk niggas, jump Chris Cross, you niggas.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Leaga. I am back for another video. I know it's been a long time since I made a video, but y'all know last year they were in the bubble, so I kind of got like bored with the season. So I didn't want to like make a video and I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. But y'all know the season recently just started on the 22nd. Everybody is in their home arenas. Besides Raptors. The Raptors are in Florida due to the coronavirus. They can't play in Canada. So that's that. There are only certain teams that are going to have fans. That is going to be the Hawks, the Cavaliers, the Rockets, the Pelicans, the Magic, the Spurs, the Jazz, and the Raptors. So those are the only teams that are going to have fans so far. Hopefully it's going to be more like the Wizards. But I guess we'll see. So the season opener was the Nets versus the Warriors. You know, the Nets have KD and they have Kyrie. But you know, last year they didn't play due to injuries. They picked up Steve Nash as their coach. So they looking like real sweet. They beat the Warriors. You know, the Warriors do not have Klay Thompson. He is out another year with a torn Achilles. You know, he was out last year. So it's kind of sad because he's missing 2 years in a row. He kind of getting like the D Rose injury type shit. But hopefully he'll be back next year. Draymond Green, he's not playing. I don't know where the fuck he at. Don't give a fuck. Curry, he's back. He started. He had 20 points, I believe. Y'all know they picked up Oubre. Oubre also was starting. He ain't do much though. He only had 6 points and 7 rebounds. Oubre came from the Suns. He was traded to OKC. Then OKC to the Warriors. So that's that. The final score was 99 to 125. KD and Kyrie had a combination of 48 together. So that's that. The second game was LA Lakers versus LA Clippers. Y'all know they gave Lakers their rings. They didn't drop the banner because they are waiting for the fans to come back and then they'll give the banner. They gave everybody their rings. Everybody's not there due to the trades. That's McGee, Rondo, Howard, Danny Green, Avery Bradley, Dion Waiters, J.R. Smith, and DeMarcus Cousins. But everybody else was there. They got their rings, so that's that. But they lost their first game due to the Clippers. Paul George, he had 33 points. He killed that shit. Y'all know he was out last season with a shoulder injury. So he came back on top, did his thing, and they won. Y'all know the LA Lakers picked up Shooter. He's a starter. Then they picked up Marc Gasol. He was starting, but he ain't do much. He had 0 points in 12 minutes. So I guess that's why they put Harold in for 32 minutes. He had 17 points and 10 rebounds. I guess they don't want to start Harold because, you know, he's a sixth man. He won the sixth man of the year last year. So I guess that's why they didn't start him. But they ended up playing him for 32 minutes. Next game was the Bucks versus the Celtics. That was a great game. Tatum, he scored a 3 over Giannis. And then 0.4 seconds left. Tristan Thompson, he fouled Giannis, sent Giannis to the line. Giannis made the first free throw. Second free throw, he missed it. So the final score was 121 to 122. So if they would have went into overtime, that would have been Tristan Thompson's fault. But that's that. The Celtics picked up Tej from the Timberwolves. And then Drew Holiday from the Pelicans. He's with the Bucks. And then Bobby Portis from the Knicks. He's also with the Bucks. And then, you know, Giannis. Everybody thought Giannis was leaving. But he signed a 5-year contract worth $228.2 million. So he's not going nowhere no time soon. People thought he was going to the Warriors. People thought he was going to the Raptors. People thought he was going to Miami. But no, he's staying in Milwaukee. So moving on to the next game. That was the Suns and the Mavericks. You know, Chris Paul is currently with the Suns. I don't like the trade, so don't ask me about it. But they won. They beat the Mavericks. Chris Paul ain't do much. He only had 8 points. And Luka had a bad game. He was 11 from 26, but I think he had 34 points. But he started off bad. He was 0 for 6. Final score was 102 to 106. You know, the Suns did pick up Crowder from Miami, and the Mavs picked up Josh Richardson from the 76ers. He started. Moving on to the next game, it was the Jazz and the Blazers. Wasn't a really good game. It was a blowout, so I turned it off. But the Jazz, they signed Rudy Gobert. The reason why we don't have no fans right now, the nigga that messed up the NBA, he is worth $205 million for 5 years. Don't think he's worth that, but I guess the Jazz do. So he's stuck there. So that's that. Moving on, the Rockets in the OKC game that was delayed due to the coronavirus. But you know, the Rockets picked up DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall. James Harden is trying to get out of Houston. He said he do not want to play with John Wall. I don't know why, but John Wall looking real healthy. I don't know if y'all seen him in the preseason games, but he moving fast. You would have never thought he had an Achilles injury. Like he was but yeah, that's that. The Wizards played the 76ers. Y'all know that was Westbrook's first game. You know, the Westbrook came from Houston. He is wearing number 4 now. He's not number 0 no more. He had his first triple-double. He had 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 15 assists, but they still lost. They gave Thomas Bryant the winner shot, and I was just confused because that's the center, and he's at the 3-point line. It was just like confusing, but they lost. The final score was 107-113. Nuggets versus Kings. That was the first game that went into overtime. The final score was 124-122. Jamal Murray, he had a bad game. He was 1 from 9, and he only had 9 points. But Jokic, on the other hand, he had a good game. He had 29 points, 15 rebounds, and 14 assists. So he had a triple-double, but it wasn't enough. Buddy Hield put that joint in there, and he ran off the court, so they ain't say nothing, and they won the game. Moving on to the Pistons and the Timberwolves. I know Blake Griffin was out and Karl Anthony Towns is out. I'm so glad to see Karl Anthony Towns due to what he went through last season. Yeah, but he's back. Timberwolves ended up coming out on top. Towns had 22 points, 11 rebounds, and Blake Griffin had 15 points and 7 rebounds. Ricky Rubio, he came from the Suns. He started. I don't know who he with. I think he with the Timberwolves. He with one of them. But y'all know he came from the Suns for Chris Paul. So, that's that. Pelicans versus the Raptors. Y'all know the Pelicans recently picked up Adams from OKC. So, that's 2 big men. I don't know how they work. You got Zion and Adams on the floor. But they won. Raptors and Pelicans, it was 113-99. Adams is a starter. He had 8 points and 8 rebounds for 30 minutes. Aaron Baines, he's currently with the Raptors because, you know, the Raptors got rid of Ibaka. Ibaka's with the LA Clippers. Aaron Baines had 11 points and 9 rebounds. Aaron Baines was from the Suns. And then Zion, you know, he's back from his little injury or whatever. He had 15 points and 10 rebounds. Moving on to the Hornets and the Cavs. I just want to talk about how Terry Rozier had 42 points in 37 minutes. And they still lost to the Cavaliers. You know, Gordon Hayward from the Celtics, he is a starter with the Hornets now. He said he didn't want to play with the Celtics no more. He had 28 points. But the crazy thing is, like, a few weeks ago, they said he fractured his finger. And I was like, this nigga always got an injury. You know, last year was his ankle or toe or some shit like that. And the year before that was his ankle again. Like, it's just like it's always someone go to Hayward. But that was it. It was good. I mean, the games yesterday, it's just good to have basketball back. I'm just mad we're just not having fans. But we're going to see how this season go. And how Chris Paul works with the Suns. I don't know. Y'all know they're trying to see if Chris Paul can make the Suns be in the playoffs, because they haven't been in the playoffs in like, what, 10? I think it's 10 years or some shit like that. But I don't know. But that's that. Thank y'all for watching. I'm gonna be back.
I'm a flossy nigga, they try to toss me, nigga. The 45th, get them off me, nigga. I block niggas, Chris Bosh. You niggas, I got figures, pitch posh. The niggas, I dunk. Niggas jump, Chris Cross. You niggas, the pump. Leave them slumped in the car. See nigga, the skunk.